I met with a lawn care professional this morning who came to look at our homeowners association green spaces to give us a quote. I actually already knew that he was a former minister. What I did not realize was this was actually his last Sunday in professional ministry. He was going into full-time lawn care service. He shared a number of reasons of why he left that I wanted to share with you because I think they're extremely common. And I also want to talk about some things that we can do to address what he's talking about, because the system that we've produced is clearly producing some pretty traumatic effects for so many people who are so well-meaning, good people. First thing is he was burned out. This is extremely common in ministry. We need to really be looking at why do our systems burn out ministers. Ministers don't often have really set hours. There may be office hours, but ministry is 24/7. Ministers often also experience a lot of double standard. People do all kinds of things that they would never expect or allow their minister to do. But if your minister does it, you're going to end up getting fired for it, whereas someone in the church does it, they just come forward and everything's taken care of. He also said that his wife had never been able to select the church that they went to because he was in professional ministry for over 30 years. Ever since they had gotten married, they went to whatever church it was where he had found employment. They were ready to be able to actually select the church that was really best for them for this season in life rather than just go to the one that would hire them. And the third thing may be the most striking. He said that now he gets to spend time among the people who he really wants to serve. Not that he didn't want to serve the people in the church, but most of us, for ministers, we get into ministry because we want to change lives, we want to change the world, and then we get into congregational ministry, and many of the ways and approaches that we go about ministry actually don't change lives. Just like the Reveal study from Willow Creek showed that becoming involved in the ministries of the church actually do not grow you as a mature disciple, but it may actually stunt your growth. So there's something about the way we are doing church that results in unhealthy ministers. I don't think it's the fact that unhealthy people seek out ministry. I think it's the fact that healthy people seek out ministry, but ministry often makes them unhealthy or accentuates the areas of their challenges. So if your challenge is that you escape when you find trouble, ministers are going to find themselves in isolation to a greater degree than people in many other professions, because ministry takes over every single aspect of your life. You know, think about it. Like if you're a dentist, you're like, well, are they a good dentist or a bad dentist? Well, I went to them and they did a really great job. They're a good dentist. But for a minister, it's like, are you a good minister or a bad minister? Well, I was sick and they didn't come to visit me. Well, now they're a bad minister. Or one time they preached this sermon that I really didn't like, not to mention that was 500 other sermons that I thought were fine or great, but there was just one that I really didn't like. See, ministers don't get into ministry to cater to consumers. Ministers get into ministry to produce transformation. And we're just not seeing it in the way that church is set up, but instead we're seeing burnout, and we're seeing people not able to achieve their purposes for changing the world through the life of the church. What a shame that is. So I hope that we'll be able to kind of rethink some things about the way that we do church, because the results demonstrate that our methods are lacking. We have a huge number of people leaving ministry to go out into other professions. We really need to ask ourselves why. Why is that the case? Why are they finding more fulfillment in ministry and ministering to people in secular employment than they were in spiritual church employment? Another huge one is that whenever you go into school for seminary to learn ministry, you learn spiritual principles and processes, but then whenever you get into the congregational side, you experience business and politics rather than spiritually minded approaches and culture. And that clash is wearing, it's tiring, it's stressful. This is why we experience so much burnout within ministry. And so we're going to have to make some changes if we're going to be able to keep ministers or attract new ministers for the current paradigm. But instead of just thinking about it that way, I would like to push a little bit harder and say, maybe it's time that we rethink the paradigm itself. Maybe we have created something that has missed the point when our very best people, our very most spiritually minded and trained people are just being ripped to pieces out there. So what is your experience with this? If you're in ministry or you're part of a church and you've seen a minister leave, what has been your experience with this? Even in the way ministers get let go or fired or forced to resign under the guise of severance, like, if you give us silence and you don't talk about all the unhealthy things that you saw and the fact that we were going to fire you because you didn't want to go along with sinful things sometimes, and so we're going to tie severance to your silence and force you into resignation rather than get fired, so that you'll be able to keep your doors open for your next opportunity. And then meanwhile, the leadership culture in that church continues to be poisonous because the very people who experienced the unhealthiness are the very people who are being paid to be quiet. We have some really serious issues going on here. But again, I want to press in a little bit harder and say, maybe instead of just saying, let's make some adjustments and just turn a few knobs here and there, and just change the temperature a little bit, maybe it's time for a new system. And maybe that new system looks an awful lot like an old system, where we're in each other's homes, where we're in each other's lives, where we're worshiping simply, where we're taking care of each other's needs, where we're looking out for other people's needs, where we're sharing the gospel with people in our neighborhoods. This is what church has been about for hundreds, thousands of years, until this last 100 years or so, when we have turned the whole thing into a business model while still trying to maintain the guise of spiritual principles. And that is debilitating and disheartening and so stinking tiring for people who think they're coming in to a spiritually minded culture to do spiritually minded things, who are met with a rude awakening. This means that we need leaders to step up. This means sometimes it's going to mean you're going to need to leave the church and go into some other employment or bi-vocational ministry. We're going to need our elders to step up and say, I have to do my part in making sure that we have a healthy, spiritually minded culture that's not consumed with a business mindset, that's shepherding our ministers rather than wearing them out and then threatening to fire them if they don't resign, and keeping their silence for severance, which I'm going to put a video up here on that. It's one of the most terrible processes that could ever possibly be imagined, but it's a regular part of church hirings and firings. And you all know that my solution is house church. This is what we've gone to. We don't see all those abuses. We don't see all those problems. We don't see all the leadership issues that we've had in big church. We don't see the culture issues. We don't see quite the burnout issues, although that can happen on some level. It's just a lot more simple, and it's a lot more easy to be spiritually minded and to develop a spiritual culture in a family than it is in a big box. So to all you ministers out there who are worn out, burned out, dried up, trying to figure out what to do next, I'm really sorry you're in that position, but I'm also not sorry you're in that position, because maybe this will catalyze you and others to try new things. I will say, before you try new things, you might need a season of healing. You might need a season of just being a part of a church, or getting your cup filled for a number of months, maybe even a year. Kind of get your feet back under you, get your spiritual bearings, get back in the Word, get back to personal prayer, not prayer for public consumption, where you're just praying for other people, but you're praying between you and God to reestablish your relationship with God and to reestablish your relationship with God's people, because it has been morphed and twisted and turned into something that it was never supposed to be, where you are looked at as an employee there to produce and create and maintain spiritual and religious goods and services for the masses that are then to be compared with the church across town or the church across the street to see who does these things better. That's not how family has ever operated, but it's what we've turned the church family into. I'm sorry you've gone through that, and I'm praying for you. And again, take that season of rest, take that season of recharge, and use that time to redefine your relationship with God, your relationship with the church, so that before you try anything new, you are in a better position where you've undergone some healing and you've done some grieving, which it takes a good year or two to grieve leaving ministry on that level, sometimes longer. See a counselor, get some professional help, reach out, don't be ashamed. And if you're anxious, worried, depressed, scared, that's natural. I'm really sorry you're in that position, but God has better days ahead, and I'm just asking you to stay faithful. I'm asking you to keep your integrity. I'm asking you to not go around and find any listening ear to be able to badmouth the church or badmouth that congregation. You're going to regret that you would ever do that. You might find a safe person or a safe space in which to do that to a select person or group of people, but the way we're doing things is clearly not working. And it's producing a lot of trauma, a lot of heartache, a lot of stress, a lot of wilderness moments, but I do believe that all this is teeing up for an amazing future for God's people, where we get back to what church is really all about, where we get back to what our relationship with God together as a church is really all about, where we create and maintain spiritually minded cultures, where we do spiritually minded things. We don't have to look for secular employment to fill that. A few little musings today. Hit that like button if it's helpful. Please subscribe if you haven't. That would mean an awful lot to me today. Y'all have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.